Welcome to Healthy You Fitness. I'm Amy. This is my kitchen, and I have a little food tip, nutrition tip for you today. I'm talking about bread. Bread is one of the food items that gets my blood boiling a little bit because there's so much confusion out there. There's so much labeling problems, I should say, where manufacturers or producers of bread and bread products are allowed to put things like whole grain, whole wheat, and other items that you think then are healthy, and they're not. They're far from healthy. And the reason they're far from healthy is because of the other ingredients, not because there's whole wheat in it, but because there's preservatives in it. Bread off the shelf has a shelf life of a week to 2 weeks. That's not good. Bread should mold in a couple of days when it's left out. If you get fresh bakery bread, like you pick up a loaf or whatever that's baked at the bakery, if you don't eat that in 2 to 3 days, you're going to find mold on it, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. That's because they don't put preservatives in it. So if you have bread sitting in your pantry that is lasting 1 to 2 weeks without molding, that's a problem. Preservatives are a big part of the reason why so many people are getting sick and why there's so many ailments and stuff out there that are nutrition based that we're labeling as something else. That's a whole nother topic. I can't get going on that right now. but preservatives are not good. So you'll see lots of labels that say added preservatives for freshness, whatever. And you're like, oh great, this stays fresh. No, not good. Stay away from it. Walk away from it. You do not want preservatives in your food, okay? So I'm going to get off that soapbox for a second. Okay, so I have been buying organic sprouted grain breads for a couple years now. Are they pricey? Yes, they're pricey comparatively. So when you can pay 99 cents to $2 for a loaf of bread that'll last in your cupboard for 2 weeks, versus a $4 to $5 loaf of sprouted grain that if you don't keep it in the freezer, it's going to go bad in a couple of days. A lot of people look at that price and they walk away. I look at that and I say, I want the best food in my body. I want the best food in my family's body as I possibly can. I don't buy organic everything, but I do where I can, and bread is one of them that I am not going to compromise at all. And the thing is, we don't eat bread every day. We stopped eating bread every day when I switched because I started looking for healthier alternatives to the carbs that we were getting in by replacing the bread with grains, with brown rice, with quinoa, with oats, with other things. So I don't make sandwiches for my boys. They get the meat and the cheese without bread. They get it in rolls or whatever, and I have alternative carbs for them. So if you're concerned because you or your family goes through a loaf of bread in 3 days and you can't afford a $5 loaf every 3 days, well, we can talk another time, or you can message me about how to go about replacing bread in your diets. Anyway, sprouted grain breads, organic, non-GMO, it's straight up grains in there. It's straight up grains. When you get bread off the shelf like all of us grew up on, you're talking hydrogenated oils, you're talking all these ingredients that you can't pronounce, and then there's probably dyes in there too, like yellow dyes, red dyes. A lot of them do have that. It's madness. So I think it's sad that we're completely misled by labeling. Just because it says whole wheat and whole grain does not mean that it's healthy. You really have to look further into it. So if you have a specific bread that your family uses, you can take a picture of it and you can message it to me, and I'll take a look at the label and I'll break it down for you. I get English muffins, sprouted grain. I get bagels, sprouted grain, wraps, sprouted grain. If I'm going to use bread, we're going to use the healthy kind. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to sacrifice money somewhere else, not in feeding my family. So that's a little bit on breads. Again, everybody buys a very, very different kind of bread. So if you have questions specifically, please contact me. And happy healthy bread eating.